That's right, guys. This is Noodle Bag today. I'm playing with the PK. Getting a little bit of meat grinder experience on Operation Locker. Kind of getting beat up in these rounds. My team wasn't so good, but it was fun. This gun is awesome. I definitely will be doing a review on it. Doing a full-on how-to PKP video. This thing fires the Motherland's 7.62 by 54 round, and it is an absolute beast in Battlefield 4. Definitely got a buff from Battlefield 3. It wasn't my favorite gun in Battlefield 3, but I can tell only after a few rounds I'm going to love this thing in Battlefield 4. It destroys people. Pretty sweet gun. But today's video, we're going to talk about the megahertz of your screen compared to what kind of frame rate you're running, and how it is important to match the two up to optimize your gaming experience, to optimize how well you can play, and to make sure your computer isn't kind of fighting itself at the same time. And what I mean by fighting itself is that if you are actually running more frames per second than your monitor is able to put out. For example, I have a 120 Hz monitor, meaning my monitor can put out 120 frames every second. Now, if I'm putting out 130 frames, I'm pretty much just wasting graphics ability. And if you're running like a really nice computer and you have a 60 Hz monitor, but you can run 120 frames, you're better off just taking your 60 Hz monitor and your really nice computer and upping the graphics to ultra settings so you're only running 60 frames and you have a beautiful game, than running 120 frames on a 60 Hz monitor, because you won't see those 120 frames. Your monitor will only put out 60 frames because that is the max it can put out. And sometimes this can actually cause screen tearing, frame tearing, I mean. And what this is your monitor and your computer will become out of sync, and part of the screen won't be in line with the other. This does happen to pretty much everybody at some point in a crazy game like Battlefield, but if you're optimizing and matching up the two, you shouldn't have too much of a problem with this. And who doesn't want to run ultra setting if you can? But personally, I like to run performance settings. I run all my settings on low so I can run 120 frames while recording all the time. So I get the best performance, so I can see those guys coming around the corner faster. It's super smooth. There's no jostling around or kind of twitching in the screen. That's how I run mine, is for performance. First, I'm going to show you how I make sure my screen resolution is at its fullest. And then we'll go into the game and show the other way to do it and the other half of how I do it. So first thing you're going to want to do is go to your desktop, and this should work on pretty much any desktop. I have NVIDIA cards, so I know this works for NVIDIA cards, but I'm pretty sure it should work for AMD cards as well. You go to your desktop, right click anywhere on your desktop, and you should see your graphics card's control panel. You see my NVIDIA control panel there? You click on your NVIDIA control panel, and it will take you to your control panel. And what you're going to want to do is go down to your change resolution screen. And once you're on your change resolution screen, you're going to see what resolutions you're able to do. As you can see in mine, I have a 120 Hz screen, so I have the option of 120, 100, and 60. And of course, because I want to run performance settings, I run it on 120. So I keep it on 120 there. And now that I know it's on 120, I can go into the game and cap my frame rate at 120 frames per second. Now let's head on into the game. Okay everyone, here we are out on the test range, and I'm gonna show you how to lock your frame rate at whatever frames per second you want. As I said earlier in the video, and I showed you guys how to set your frame or your screen resolution. And you see I set mine to 120 megahertz because that is the maximum amount of frames per second my screen can put out. And as I said earlier, I like to go for absolute performance, so I have the most advantage in the game. So I will show you 2 ways to do it. First way, I will show you how I do it. Now, up on the top left of your keyboard, next to your 1 button is the accent button. Hit the accent button, and up will pop your console. From your console, hit G. You'll see Game Time Max Variable FPS come up. Now type that in. Good. Type it right. And don't type the float 32 in. Yep. You should probably type the correct one. That normally helps you do your videos correctly and achieve the results you want. And as I said, don't type the float 32. Hit the space key and type whatever screen resolution that you have, whatever megahertz you set your screen on. Type that number. Mine is 120, so I type that and hit enter. So now my max frames per second that my computer will put out in Battlefield is 120 frames per second. And it is locked at that and will not go over it, and therefore it won't waste frames. And now is the other way you can do it. I'm going to undo that. And I'm going to type 130 just for the sake of this video. Okay. And now you go to your options screen. Exit out of that. Go to your options screen. And here's the other way you can do it. You can go to vertical sync right here and click that on. Hit save settings. And that will do the exact same thing as the way I do it. But some people do have problems with vertical sync. I've read where some people have up to a 50% decrease in frames per second in the game when they install vertical sync. I haven't had too much problems with it, but some players have, and therefore I do it the other way just to be safe, because some of the maps, like Paracel Storm, are kind of frame hogs, where even with the system I'm running, I'm dipping down to 100, 105 frames on low settings. So some of you may have more problems with it than I do, but I just wanted to show you both ways in this video. I also like to include in this video, I'd like to thank all of you. I have almost 50 subscribers now, and I have 3,000 views on my video. I think this is so cool. I appreciate every one of you watching my videos, and I hope you continue to do so. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit it. And if you have any questions about this video, feel free to ask them. I'm a small channel. I answer all my comments in a timely manner, so I hope to help you guys out as much as I can. This is my video for today, guys. My name is Noodle. Remember, use your noodle. Have a nice day.